So today we're going to do a beautiful makeup of Pricilla, doing a bridal look because she's eager to get married.
You're in a time frame.
Yes, I am.
All right, so we're going to start off with a natural look and then we're going to give her a bit of oomph around the eyes. So let's get started. The MAC Natural Radiance Prep and Prime. Using the foundation brush, buff it all around. So we're going to colour match along the jawline, down the neck or on the décolletage. And that seems perfect. So now we'll apply our foundation. I'm using a mix of the Face and Body and the HD. With this brush, the great thing about this, with the flat head of the brush, I can put my foundation on, look up for me, and then run it under the eyes. And if anybody's got any puffiness under their eyes, I just give a little bit more pressure on the brush and run it down the side in front of the ear and down onto the neck. So we're just going to go over any little blemishes and just use the same, I'm using the same tone as the foundation. It's close to me. So when Pricilla closes her eyes, it's slightly darker on the lid. So this brush is going to take me like an hour to do that. So I'm going to go to the next size brush and I'll put this same product over the eyelid area. So you can already see how that's toned. This is still quite dark. Just go over it and just check the skin, just make sure that everything's nice and even. And then we could powder over the top of this. I'm going to leave it just that dewy finish for now. So this is my bridal palette. I like to use this as a bridal palette because we've got the light colours, a few little colours through there, some golds and then lighter browns to our darker colours. Perfect for brides, for people who like makeup and people who don't like makeup or don't like to wear a lot of makeup. I'm just going to use like a matte brown and I'm going to put some product into the brow. Usually everybody's eyebrows are cooler in colour. So if someone's got warm tones through their hair, you'll still find they've got a cooler brow. So rather than put like an orangey brown on or a warm brown, especially with Pricilla because she's quite dark, I'm going to put a cool brown. And if it's not strong enough, I can actually add a tiny bit of black. This depends on the bride's colouring. So when you're looking at your bride's eyebrows, you might need to do a little bit of a cleanup underneath the brow shape itself and or add some extra colour in there. Now, Priscilla's brows are nice and strong in colour from the start to the finish. I don't really need to add too much product. If she had like any gaps in between, well, there's a little gap there, I can go in and fill that in so I get like a nice shape through the entire brow. Colour down. If I put too much colour down, I can just brush it out so it's not so heavy. It's a mix of the black and the brown because the hair colour is quite dark. I would never use like a flat black. I'd always add a bit of brown into it. And then brush the hairs up and push the hairs back down into the brow itself. So I'm going to use a cream shadow, which is called Bare Study by MAC. I've got a cream shadow. I'm going to start in the centre of the eye and I'm going to give it a wash of colour. So I'm going to start here because I've got most of the product on my brush right now and I have my intensity of colour through the centre part of the eye. I've got my colour on the motion part of the lid. Now just open for me. So when she opens and looks straight ahead, I can see I've got the colour there. If I need to bring some up, I can bring it just up onto the brow bone. I always like to do this after the eye is open so I can see exactly how far I need to go. I don't have to do anything twice. Open. Look straight. Just up onto the brow. Okay. Just going to run a little bit of colour along the lash line. So we're just going to use our small fluffy brush and run a little bit of colour just along the lash line. I just want to use this brush because it's nice and soft. I don't want a defined line. Start in the corner and just wiggle your brush and just fill it in like along the lash line. Don't use the whole head of the brush and run the whole head across. Push it into the lashes so we've got like colour a thicker shape out here, and it's definitely running into the lashes there and disappearing. Just pull it out a little bit through there so it's just softer, but just gives a bit more length to the eye. Now, I'm just going to run it in so it disappears about here. So there'll be product that you can see at the corner as it comes across the middle, and the inner part of the eye, it disappears. So we've got our like disappearing line through there. Okay, let's have a look at that. Customize the colour, mix it with this, the tobacco, and a darker tobacco. So just to give the colour that I think is going to suit the skin better. Just going to use the same brush and just put a little bit on the outer third of the eye. Just going to use a shimmer, a light shimmer colour. I'm going to put that along the waterline in the eye. I'm using my flat definer, so just look up for me. And I'm going to place that on the waterline. Blush palette, I'm going to use like a peachy tone. This is the kabuki brush, and I'm just like kissing the skin, not doing anything too heavy. Now I want to do the blush on the cheekbone, rather than like if it's, I find I put blush or product low on the cheek, it leaves a wider space from the eyebrow or the eye to the top of my colour, which then flattens off my cheekbone. If I've got my colour up that little bit higher, I've got a smaller amount of area, which instantaneously gives you high cheekbones. So I'm going to outline the lips. Whenever I do anybody's lips, I usually ask them to keep their mouth or their lips closed, and then I can work around that. I don't like people opening their lips. And the only reason I don't like that is because I think it distorts the shape. It's nice if they're relaxed and we can create the shape working with their natural shape. I'm just following her natural line. If somebody has a less volume in their top lip, I'm going to definitely make it more volume through here, so I get most of my volume in this part of the lip, which will then balance out with the bottom lip. Whenever you're doing lips, look at the top left and the top right and the bottom left and the bottom right, so you can match the shape that's on this end and match the shape through here, here and here. If you only look at the top and the bottom, you might end up with a thin top lip and a full bottom lip. You really want to balance both. So looking at both sides, this side here could curve under, this side here could be fuller. So we need to balance both of those out, top and bottom. So I've used our pencil all around the outside of the mouth, but we left a little bit of the natural lip colour through there so we get a bit of an ombre look. Now I'm going to get you to just open like partially. I'm going to use the side of my brush to run the colour on. That way I'm going to get a clean line. This is the shape of the brush to give me a nice curve through here. This is the point where you do need your bride to open their mouth so that you can get the brush in through on the corners, especially if you're using bright colours or an ombre sort of look where it might be darker out here and lighter in the centre. Otherwise, when they do talk afterwards, we're going to have like no product there and it's not going to look good. So make sure you do that. Close for me. So we're going to use the brush and just run the edge along the lip to get a nice clean line. Turn your brush around, do the same on this side, and then your bottom lip is done. Centre of the mouth. So the ombre, we're going to have lighter in the centre and darker on the perimeter. The outer corners of the lips. And then get your bride to press the lips together. Okay. I chose these lashes because they're nice and sparse. They've got a lot of density to the root of the lash, but we've got like a nice flick and flare in the tips of the lashes. So we've got our lash. I'm going to put some glue on our lash. So run your glue along the strip of the lash. I'm going to push the lash across the eye here. If I have it out here too far, it's going to bring the eye down. So if I push it in further, it's going to lift up the outer corner of the eye. Are you close on that? There we go. That's it. So they sit right against her natural lash line. Sort of block off because it's quite black and we've still got a bit of skin through there. A little trick you can use is a pencil. We'll put our pencil and look up and over that way for me. And I can run the pencil underneath the black pencil. The eyeline now flows. You can't see where it's like chopped off because of the lash. Just making sure that when you look at the lashes or when you can see the false lash, you can't see a hard edge where it actually ends. If we do a little bit, look over there again for me. If we do a little bit of black, run it under the waterline, it just actually flows with a nice clean line. Look at my shoulder. So this is my finished natural bride for Pricilla. She's got a nice false lash, beautiful lip, and a very light eyeshadow. Now it's going to zhuzh her hair. Take some photos. Just adding some depth in the socket line to make the eye makeup a bit stronger. And this brush, run it underneath the lashes and then up onto your socket line. That way you're going to get the shape of the eye to suit your bride. Berry colour, my definer brush. Look up, eyes up. And I'm just going to place that along the lashes. Still got the tobacco colour underneath. It's going to define the eye that little bit more. So a stronger version and a softer version. Look up. All you need to do is put the brush against the lashes and just wiggle it. There's no need for blending or moving the brush at all. For the same berry colour, I'm going to mix a little bit of the berry colour with this deeper tobacco colour. And I'm going to look straight ahead and look up, run it underneath, and then now look down a little, and I'm going to run it along the bottom edge of this, just to deepen that socket area. The reason I say to run it underneath is so I can run the brush around the perimeter of the eye and bring it back into the socket line. It always fits the person's face.